2 days ago on the Instagram poll, I asked you, what is the optimal training frequency to build strength? Is that 6+ training sessions a week, so only having one rest day and even performing multiple 2-a-days? Is it 4 to 5 training sessions a week? Or is it 2 to 3 training sessions a week? And most of you guys actually answer 2 to 3 training sessions a week. But what is the answer? And is there really a definitive one? I can absolutely tell you guys and disappoint you if I would say that there are multiple different training approaches and so many different athletes, and that works for him, but everyone is a unique unicorn, and okay? There is a recurring theme, there is a mechanism behind that, and we have to acknowledge that if we are seeking optimal results. We are seeking the optimal training frequency. And the idea for the video was sparked from books that I read last week, The Purposeful Primitive by Martin Gallagher, which really gives a lot of anecdotes of the strongest powerlifters, and The Development of Physical Power by Arthur Saxon, which was one of the strongest just humans to ever live. This was in the beginning of the 20th century, and he really specified in the one arm dumbbell overhead pressing. I like to study a lot of different strength fields. The strongman, powerlifting, weightlifting is just more well researched, thick background from more than a century really. A lot of research, a lot of studies, so you can study that. But when I study that, I have to say that I do prefer to really take notes about the upper body in particular, because I can really transfer those information into calisthenics and gymnastic strength to our worlds more precisely than the deadlift, which is really different in so many regards to a ring Maltese. But what is the answer really? The answer is, the more stressful the event, the less frequent you will train it. That is true to just training in general. So the more stressful your training is, the less frequent you will train, but also for each separate movement pattern. So let's say the more stressful one exercise is, the less frequent you will train it, and you can really train other movements more frequent within the same training program. And we really see that. Let's take the powerlifters for example. Powerlifters on average can get by with lower training frequencies than calisthenics and gymnastic ring athletes, because each event is so stressful on the central nervous system. In powerlifting, let's take powerlifting as a sport, bench, squat, and deadlift are, in comparison to calisthenics, not technically demanding at all, simple movements, and that means that there are less limiting factors between you and your ability to put huge stress on the body, on the central nervous system. So they get by with lower training frequency and frequency per movements than calisthenics and gymnastic athletes. J.M. Blakely, one of the strongest bench pressers to ever live, and I believe that he held the world record for bench press in 3 different weight classes simultaneously, which haven't been done to this day. It was at his peak around 700 pounds or 600 pounds. Something huge, obviously extremely stressful on the shoulders. Therefore, he only trained the bench press once every 10 days. And he will only train the triceps in between those heavy bench sessions. That's it, once every 10 days. And he actually needed each one of these 9 recovery days to perform for the bench press. The strongest deadlifters deadlift once every 2 weeks. Once every week tops, really, maximum. But more so once every 2 weeks. So deadlift is even more stressful in absolute term, more weight than the bench press. So you will see on average less frequency. You can get by with deadlifting if you're very, very strong once every 2 weeks. So we see that in powerlifting, and we see that not in just particular movements, but in their training in general. Hugh Cassidy, Mark Chilett, they train twice a week. And so many different athletes as well from powerlifting. And we see that theme reoccurring in our sport, calisthenics and gymnastics as well. That's the answer. Really, there is a definitive answer. The more stressful the event, the less frequent you will train. That is true to calisthenics and gymnastics as well. The strongest ring elite specialists train lower frequency on ring than beginner ring athletes. Okay? They train twice a week on rings. Take Brandon Wynn and Yan Ming Yong, so two completely different schools of thought. The Chinese gymnastics team and the American gymnastics team, both of them, Brandon Wynn, Yang Ming Yong, train rings, the straight arm, the heavy straight arm strength, twice a week. Other days, conditioning, different apparatuses which are not strength demanding, conditioning, rehab, prehab, but not strength work on the ring. That's only twice a week. So we see that recurring theme, the more stressful the event, the less frequent you will train it. I see it with my experience as well. I used to run as a beginner training splits like push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, rest. But I made it happen because each workout was really not very stressful. So I was able to come to the next day and perform. But now I perform 4 training sessions a week. I used to do also 3 training sessions a week because I spread my work to squats, deadlift, Maltese, planche, so I can really train more days in a week. But every movement pattern gets trained only once a week because it's extremely stressful. And actually with the cross pulls, with iron cross in general, it gave me the hardest time. I used to train that 2 to 3 times a week, and now I only perform it once a week. My elbows feel great. So low frequency now as I get stronger. I see it true for me. The Bodyweight Tribe athlete programs, which are the home routines for the new calisthenics membership site, link is in the description below, you see the same principle apply. The beginner tribe athlete program, the beginners in our membership site, they train the most frequent 5 times a week. The intermediates 4 times a week. The elites, Maltese, ring full planches, iron cross pull-ups, 3 times a week training. That's it. 3 training sessions a week, because each session is more stressful. So you need the recovery time as you get stronger. Same thing apply in the bodyweight tribe athlete, and we see that in the purposeful primitive, and we see that with strongmen and weightlifters from more than a century ago. You can see the recurring theme once you studied it. That's the answer really. So if I give you numbers, specific numbers, and we will end the videos with that. Beginners, you can get by with 4 to 6 training sessions a week. Every training session will be shorter. It will be less intense, just in absolute terms talking, in comparison to your more developed self, or in comparison to more developed other self, like a ring athlete. 4 to 6 training sessions a week. If you're intermediate, 3 to 4 training sessions a week. And if you're elite, if you're really advanced on the rings, 2 to 3 training sessions a week. 3 sessions if you really put a lot of effort into recovery. I get by with 4 because I live this lifestyle. I sleep 8 to 9 hours each night. I don't sacrifice that. I eat well, I sleep, I recover, I take care of everything, so I make 4 training sessions happen. Otherwise I would have done even less than that, and I've seen results with less than that. So that's the answer. See you next time.